What does it take to become a Kung Fu master? Kung Fu is one of the oldest forms of martial arts in the world. Although the original meaning of Kung Fu refers to any study, learning, or practice that requires patience, energy, and time to complete, it is often used as an umbrella term for the several martial arts systems that originated from China. Most of these martial arts systems were created years ago to protect the practitioners from attacks, and they are still relevant today. So, if you've ever wondered what it takes to become a Kung Fu master, make sure to watch this video until the end to find out. And if you are new here, kindly hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the post notification so that you will be the first to know when we upload a new video. With that said, let's get back to the discussion of this video on how to become a Kung Fu master. There are many forms of Kung Fu fighting styles you can choose from. However, some of the most popular ones include the Shaolin Kung Fu, Wing Chun, and Tai Chi. Each of these fighting styles has its own unique principles and techniques, most of which are an imitation of animal fighting styles. How Kung Fu started. Shaolin Kung Fu is perhaps one of the oldest and the most famous styles of Kung Fu. Its origin can be traced back to the ancient Chinese kingdom during the 5th century when the Shaolin monastery was built in the Henan province. An Indian monk named Buddha was said to be the first monk who preached Buddhism in the temple, but also had exceptional martial arts skills. However, it wasn't until the Sui dynasty some years later that the Shaolin Kung Fu was institutionalized as a fighting system. The early version then became the foundation for various Chinese martial arts. Over the years, the Shaolin monks continued to improve on the existing fighting styles to create more advanced martial skills. This became necessary as the monks had to defend the monastery from bandits. Additionally, rich merchants would often hire the monks as bodyguards to protect them from attacks. Another major factor that influenced the early development of Kung Fu is the location. The difference in the location of the practitioners resulted in many styles that were developed independently. Chinese martial arts became mainstream in the 20th century in the West and other parts of the world because of the influence of martial arts movies. Bruce Lee is one of the notable actors that helped in popularizing martial arts because of his various stunts in the movies. Other actors like Jet Li, Jackie Chan, and Donnie Yen continued with the legacy of Bruce Lee, and Jackie Chan even introduced humor into his movie, making it more appealing to a wider audience. How to learn Kung Fu. The first step to become a Kung Fu master is to first start as a student. Kung Fu training consists of 4 components, which are basics, forms, applications, and weapons. However, the emphasis on each component depends on the style you choose to learn. So let's start with the first category, which is the basic training. Students are first introduced to the history of martial arts as well as the basic principles and techniques. The main focus on the student at this stage is to build physical stamina through various exercises. At this stage, you are also taught how to position yourself and perform some simple movements repeatedly. Without mastering the basics, you cannot progress to a more advanced stage. But once you've mastered the basics of the martial art, the next training is the forms or taolu. These are a series of predetermined movements that are done repeatedly. Although these choreographed movements might not be useful in a real fight where an opponent cannot be predicted, it teaches balance, focus, and coordination. Students who have successfully mastered the basics and forms training can then advance to the application training. This is where you get to perfect your skills against a sparring partner. But like we earlier mentioned, Most of the movements in Kung Fu are predetermined, so the sparring partners also act accordingly. Finally, the last form of training is the weapon training. Weapons are an important aspect of ancient Chinese martial arts, and some Kung Fu styles consider weapons as an extension of the body. Now that you know the different components of a Chinese martial arts training, you're probably wondering, how long will it take you to master the skills? Well, there are several factors involved. Therefore, the duration it takes to master Kung Fu would be different for each student. For example, the martial arts school and the instructor you have can influence how fast and effective your training would be. A Kung Fu master who has mastered the skills with years of experience and knowledge to back it up would give you better training than a random teacher without experience. However, perhaps the most important factor is the student. It doesn't matter how good the teachers are, if the student is not willing to dedicate hours of practice every week, it will be impossible to be a Kung Fu master. So, how long does it take to become a Shaolin Kung Fu master if you have a good teacher and you are willing to put in the work? Most Chinese monks enter the monastery at the age of 5 and graduate at around the age of 25. While you don't have to become a monk to master Kung Fu, it would take you 2 to 5 years to master the basics. But if you want to become a master, it takes a lifetime of learning and practice. Even though some people do not regard Kung Fu as an effective martial art for self-defense, it is very effective once you master the techniques. Remember, it was created many years ago for self-defense and not for sport. If you consider yourself a Kung Fu master, we'd like to know how long it took you to become one. Leave your answer in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the post notification icon for more interesting updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.